In the early 1900s, 75% of New Yorkers were immigrants or the children of immigrants. Families settled in the slums of the Lower East Side, shoehorned with their growing families in tiny tenement apartments. Unlike the Western European immigrants of generations past, this generation didn't blend easily into American culture. They came from Italy, the Middle East, China, and the varied ethnic enclaves of the former Yugoslavia and Russian Empire, with nothing Western or American about them aside from their hunger for freedom. This was a generation determined to leave their mark on their new home. They learned English, sent their children to American schools, and played baseball, but they also brought something to America's infant culture. These families clawed their way into the middle class and, through sheer force of numbers, entreated America to embrace their culture as well. Even as strict immigration quotas were being imposed by Washington, the Lower East Side was growing crowded. Immigrants stretched outward into Manhattan, the outer boroughs, and beyond. One such neighborhood is Bath Beach in Brooklyn. Today, it's the neighborhood I call home. Sandwiched between Bay Ridge, Dyker Heights, and Bensonhurst, the first Bath Beach immigrants were Italian. Today, it's more diverse. The first thing I see is the Syrian-owned bodega. It's halal, so there's no booze, but there is lamb and rice. A few doors down is the Chinese restaurant with crispy ducks hanging in the window, waiting to be carved. Next door is a decades-old Italian bakery whose signage has seen nary a change since the 1970s. Then there are the supermarkets. First, there's the Chinese supermarket, where American staples like Lipton tea and Pringles compete for attention with imported ramen, bok choy, and steamed buns. Down a few blocks, next to the Russian Orthodox Church, is the Russian supermarket. At the corner of 18th and Bath, we find the Middle Eastern supermarket. Their shelves overflow with halva, dried dates, jars of harissa, and halal meat. The Lower East Side of the early 1900s has all but been erased, replaced with a growing Chinatown, art galleries, upscale restaurants, and boutique clothing stores. There are some relics of the past. Sammy's has been there forever, and Little Italy is now a mix of tourist traps and old-school restaurants clinging to survival. Unlike many synagogues of Europe, the Eldridge Street Synagogue still stands in all its newly renovated glory. When I grew out of my tiny apartment in Manhattan, I chose an immigrant neighborhood, surrounded by people with the same hopes and struggles. I feel completely at home.